Okay, now I've got the 3 square file mounted back in Grandpa Beb's file holder. I'm going to want to take this and I'm going to want to file right down to provide a little relief for my crimp. How am I going to do this without being in front of the camera? Okay, this angle looks like it's going to work. I'm going to file right down right next to my reed. This is really going to make for a lot cleaner of a crimp. When we're filing, we don't want to apply too much pressure to our file. This is a good Nicholson 3 square file. I suggest that you invest $8 or $9 in a good 3 square file because you're going to use it a bit here and a bit there. I use it for cutting my reliefs in. I use it for cutting out for my crimps. I used to not make this little relief cut for my crimps, and I've noticed that it really does make a difference. Makes it easier to crimp, makes a cleaner looking crimp. I'm going to file all the way down. Got this from watching videos of Morchang makers making their harps. And they'll use a hammer or a chisel to depress an area, a little triangular area right next to where their reed crimp goes. And after I started doing it, I'm like, yeah, I very much enjoy crimping better in this way. Makes for such a cleaner crimp and an easier crimp too. And then I'll do it right on the other side. I like to rotate every once in a while. Try to get even wear on my files, not have one side that's all the way wore off. Oh, we're almost there. It helps to get your head down there and just sight down it. Look at things, do a little bit, look at it. Do a little bit, look at it. It's so easy to get to going and not pay attention and file too much or file untrue, and that just sucks when you spend all the time and the energy and the thought making a harp and then it goes awry in the final details. And we're not close to the end yet, but we're getting closer. Okay, we're getting closer. That should do. I'm going to take my hammer and I'm going to do a little bit more tapping. Make sure that I didn't rattle loose. I want this fitting tight in here. Now we are ready to make our crimp. Always be sure you have your safety glasses, especially at this stage. You don't want something flying apart and hitting you in the eye. Okay, here we have Grandpa Beb hammer. Got our harp, everything's set in there. We got it drove into place. It's fitting in there snugly. And I used to use the press to do this. I like to do it by hand. I went and got some punches. Well, not punches, but these are pins here. Came in a set. I start out with a bigger one. Just want to drive it. And your harp ends. You may notice that your arms kind of grow apart a little bit. We can take care of that on the vise. Want to be checking. I want to make sure that my crimp comes all the way down. Start out with the bigger, then I'm going to go to a smaller little pin here. Tapping it in little places here. You can feel that when the metal gives, you can feel when it's seated in there all the way. Some people use a machine for this. I prefer now to do it by hand. I can feel where I'm going. With the machine, you can't really feel. I'm looking at the back. I want to make sure that the crimp is seated all the way around the reed and on top of the reed. Well, there's a little bit more on that. It's kind of growing apart a little bit, but I can go ahead and I can take it on the vise and I will correct all that using proper technique on the vise. My main concern is get this seated down. I don't want the reed coming loose. There we have that. Now, I just use a pair of snips, and I'll snip that end off. Go over in the grinder. Okay, we got this tail on here. Let's go ahead and grind that off. I like to grind it off flush. Go just till I get there. I'll turn around. And I'll take it to the wire wheel. And I'll also take the wire wheel to my crimp, polish it up, smooth it out. We don't want any sharp edges anywhere. And the back side of the harp will get a little burr. Nice and smooth. There we go, got a nice, even, professional looking crimp there.